Imagine a mystery so haunting it has puzzled investigators for over 6 decades. A small boy, found lifeless inside a cardboard box. No name, no past, no answers. For 65 years, he was known only as America's unknown child. This is the story of how a ghost from the past was finally given a name, but whose killer remains a shadow. It was February 25, 1957, in a quiet, wooded area of Philadelphia. A young man, checking his muskrat traps, stumbled upon something that would change the city forever. A large cardboard box, the kind that once held a bassinet from J.C. Penney. Inside, wrapped in a plaid blanket, was the body of a small boy. He was between 4 and 6 years old, with blue eyes and light brown hair that appeared to have been recently and crudely cut. His body was clean, his nails were neatly trimmed, but he was bruised and severely malnourished. The scene was eerily quiet, with no signs of a struggle. It was as if he had been placed there, a silent, heartbreaking puzzle. Who was this child, and who could commit such a heartless act? The police were baffled. There were no witnesses, no missing person reports that matched, and no one came forward to claim him. The city was in an uproar. Investigators launched one of the most extensive manhunts in Philadelphia's history. They printed over 400,000 flyers with the boy's post-mortem photo and distributed them everywhere in gas bills, at police stations, and in stores across the state. The photo was unsettling, a plea from beyond the grave, yet it yielded nothing. Every lead turned into a dead end. They checked orphanages, hospitals, and foster homes, but it was as if this child had never existed. His fingerprints and footprints were taken, but they matched no records. The case grew colder with each passing year, but the image of the boy in the box never faded from the public's memory. He became a symbol of forgotten children, a ghost haunting the city's conscience. Investigators dedicated their entire careers to the single case, passing the torch from one generation to the next, refusing to let him be forgotten. Over the decades, theories swirled, each more perplexing than the last. One of the most prominent came from a woman, identified only as Martha, who claimed her abusive mother had purchased the boy in 1954. She alleged her mother kept him in the basement, and his death was a tragic accident. Martha's story was detailed and compelling, but investigators could never fully verify it. She had a history of mental health issues, and her story changed over time, leaving detectives wondering if it was a cry for help or a distorted memory. Another theory pointed to a nearby foster home. A medical examiner, who had a strong intuition about the case, believed the boy came from a family that ran the foster home just 1.5 miles from where the body was found. He speculated that the family might have been trying to hide an accidental death. They found a bassinet similar to the one from the J.C. Penney box and blankets like the one the boy was wrapped in. But without concrete evidence, it remained just another tantalizing, unprovable theory. Each clue seemed to lead down a rabbit hole, promising answers but delivering only more questions. The mystery deepened, entangling itself in folklore and speculation. Just when it seemed the case would remain forever unsolved, a seismic shift occurred. Decades after the discovery, the world of forensic science had been revolutionized. DNA, a concept unknown in 1957, held the key. Investigators carefully exhumed the boy's body in 1998, and again in 2019, to extract genetic material. They uploaded his profile to public genealogy databases, hoping to find a relative, a distant cousin, anyone who shared his DNA. For years, the search yielded nothing. But then, in 2022, they got a hit. A match. Using cutting-edge forensic genealogy, investigators painstakingly built a family tree. They traced distant relatives, narrowed down the possibilities, and finally, after 65 long years, they found him. They discovered his birth certificate. The boy in the box had a name. On December 8, 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department held a press conference that sent shockwaves across the country. America's unknown child was Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13, 1953. This revelation was a monumental breakthrough. After a lifetime of anonymity, he was no longer just a symbol of a cold case. He was a person, a boy with a birthday, a family, and a life that was stolen from him. The police confirmed they had identified his parents, both of whom were long deceased, and that he had living siblings. The name gave him an identity, a place in history. It was a moment of profound victory for the generations of detectives who had worked on his case. The ghost finally had a story, but giving him a name wasn't the end of the mystery. In fact, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. Joseph Augustus Sorelli. The name hangs in the air, heavy with unanswered questions. Knowing his name only makes the silence surrounding his death even louder. Who was responsible for the abuse and neglect he clearly suffered? Why was his life cut so tragically short? Police have not released the names of his parents, but have stated that the investigation into his murder is now active and ongoing. They have a suspect, but will not name them. The family tree that led to Joseph's identification has also opened new avenues of inquiry. Is it possible someone alive today knows what happened? A sibling, a neighbor, family friend who held the secret for over half a century. The truth feels closer than ever, yet still frustratingly out of reach. The story is no longer about finding his name, but about getting him justice. For 65 years, a simple unmarked grave read, "America's Unknown Child." Today, that headstone finally bears his name, Joseph Augustus Sorelli. The boy who was lost to the world has been found. But while his identity has been restored, the shadows of his story remain. The final chapter of this haunting tale is yet to be written. The search for his killer continues, driven by the hope that one day, the full truth will come to light. Do you think we will ever know who is responsible for what happened to Joseph? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you found the story as compelling as I did, please consider liking and subscribing for more dives into history's greatest mysteries.